Hello everyone, it's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and before the video starts, I just wanted to let everyone know that I have an indieGoGo live right now of my very first comic book cover ever. So if you like me and you want to support my artwork, go on to the indieGoGo, the link is in the description below, and check out some of the tiers, and if you support it, it would mean the world to me. Thank you so much everyone, and now on to today's video. What's up all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today we are going to be talking about Disney's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, or Star Wars Land, as it should have been called. You know, they have Adventureland, they have Tomorrowland, they have Fantasyland. It's like, just call it Star Wars Land. But no, it's got to be Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I get it. Walt Disney World is different than Disneyland, as well as all the other Disney parks, but just make it easy. Just call it Star Wars Land. It's not that hard. But before we get on to today's topic and what I'm going to be talking about, I've gotten a ton of emails from people letting me know that YouTube unsubscribed them from my channel. So take a minute to check and see that you are still subscribed to my channel. And if you were unsubscribed, maybe, click the subscribe button, then resubscribe to my channel. If you're new here, take a minute, maybe considering subscribing to my channel. Talk about Star Wars, Star Trek, lots of pop culture things here. But I just wanted to give everyone the heads up because YouTube did this big change and wiped a bunch of people from my channel. So make sure that you are still subscribed, and make sure to check for the other channels that you were subscribed to, because YouTube's being pretty shady, so we cannot let them get away with that. But anyways, on to today's video. So a lot of articles were coming out, and I saw it in articles first about this interview. So this interview was from the former VP of Walt Disney World, and so his name is Dan. I'm blanking on his last name off the top of my head, but so this guy did an interview where he was talking about what Star Wars Land was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, Tatooine. It was supposed to have the cantina. It was supposed to be Mos Eisley. It was going to be this epic, ode basically to the original trilogy, as well as, have things from the prequels in it. And it was going to be awesome. And everyone that was working on it was so excited because they had grown up with Star Wars their entire life. And they were huge Star Wars fans. And then Kathleen Kennedy herself, the wonderful shining beacon of Kathleen Kennedy, decided to come in and say, no, only 50-year-old white men are going to care. I shouldn't say white men. She wasn't very specific on white men, but that's usually the tone that they go with. They always have to enforce race. But she basically came out and said, no one under 50 is going to care about Mos Eisley or Tatooine. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about the original trilogy. We have all the future Star Wars. There's going to be more in the future than what came from the past. So we're going to not remember the past, and we are going to not do anything that relates to the original trilogy or, the prequels. We're not even going to talk about that. We're just going to go and do the new Star Wars. The things that nobody has grown up with yet. The things nobody really cares about yet. The things nobody are emotionally connected to yet. We're not going to do that. But let me play the clip for you guys so that way you can get the full context.
Indiana Jones Theater, that was going to be like the heart of the Star Wars land. That was going to go away, and we were going to plug it right in there. The Mos Eisley Cantina was going to be right across from Star Tours, and we had all kinds of great concepts with that. And we had gotten way down the path on art drawings, and we hadn't gone into architectural drawings or anything. And then we got a call one day, and they said, well, we got some news for you all. And the Imagineering guys, they've heard this line many, many times during their career. And I had never been through this. They said, well, yesterday, Bob Iger met with Kathleen Kennedy, who, as a lot of people may know, was sort of George Lucas's protege and headed up Lucasfilms. And they had a conversation, they had a meeting. And Kathleen Kennedy, her point of view was, there are way more Disney or Star Wars stories ahead of us than behind us. So we really should think about, or do we want to build a Tatooine and build what all the 50-somethings remember Star Wars is? Or do we want to build something else which is going to appeal to all the upcoming generations who are going to know the new stories? And that day, the Tatooine was killed at the studios. And all those concepts were put on a shelf, and I'm sure they're sitting in a vault, and I'm sure they're going to be shown someday about what that land would have looked like and what the attractions were going to be. And the Imagineering team, we got off the phone, and I said, can you guys believe this? And they said, this is terrible. We've been working on this. I said, well, what's next? They said, well, we're going to get on a call tomorrow and start over. I said, that's it. They go, look, go out tonight, go have a few beers, cry in your drink, come back tomorrow, and we're starting again. And they had been through this before. They know that until it's signed and until you start breaking ground, none of these projects are guaranteed.
Well, after listening to that, I think you guys can all understand why I'm pretty PO'd, as just, just in the beginning of this video. It blows my mind. The more and more we see and the more information that's released on this woman, I don't know how anyone can continue to defend her. It blows my mind. When we watched that interview, when George Lucas announced that he was selling the company, selling Lucasfilm, selling his baby basically to Disney, and she sat there and she said her goal was to respect the characters and the legacy George Lucas created. All of that was a freaking lie. Everything that she has done has proven that she does not keep true to her word, that she is a liar, that she is a manipulator, that all she cares about is lying to get what she wants so that way she can just push her own agenda and her own politics, going on record and saying, hey, I know that you guys, all of you Imagineers at Disney World, all of you, people that have worked on this Star Wars land, that love Star Wars, that are passionate about Star Wars, that probably grew up with this, that were so invested in this, that were so passionate about this, that we're probably going to make the best, land within Star Wars. And, when you enter this part of Disney World, Disneyland, whatever park that this was going to be at, that you were going to put your heart and soul into it, and it was going to be filled with so much love and so much passion, and just little Easter eggs from the movies, that it was going to, for lack of a better word, and I know that's going to be kind of, cheesy, but it would have been a magical experience. And if you've ever been to Disneyland, or I've never been to Disney World, so I can only speak from my own personal experience at Disneyland, but when you walk into Disneyland, you feel something. It's like entering another plane of existence, and you walk down the main street and it's like, this is where Walt Disney stepped. That was the apartment that he lived in. That is Sleeping Beauty's castle. And it's just, it takes you into this whole nother world, and it's such a magical experience, and it's one of those things that, and you can only get that there. And it's beautiful, and I love going to Disneyland. I don't like a lot of the changes that they've made to it, but I would have loved to been able to go to Star Wars Land, and to go to the Mos Eisley Cantina, and just to go and see the places that Luke Skywalker walked through. The real Luke Skywalker, not Jake Skywalker, to see where Obi-Wan Kenobi saved Luke at the cantina, to go see where Luke met Han Solo, to go to those places, to go see where the Millennium Falcon was actually docked. Not the one at Galaxy's Edge. It doesn't even resemble what it looked like in Star Wars. And the fact that it wasn't doing well, that when I went it was empty. The only reason it's packed at Walt Disney World is because you have to go through it to get out of Toy Story Land. It's like, well, that wasn't a manipulative move on them. I guess you got to put it where it's got to go. But the fact that you have to go through it to get from one land to the other, so that's the only reason it looks busy, is because you have to walk through it. You have to physically go through it to get from point A to point B. It's like, that's not manipulative at all. But the fact that she's just like, no, guess what? Everything that came before it doesn't matter. The only thing that's important is the new stuff that doesn't exist yet. Everyone that, has grown up loving Star Wars. Oh, but guess what? None of you guys count. Women don't count. I don't count. Anyone that's not a man and under 50 doesn't count in Kathleen Kennedy's book. Apparently, every single Star Wars fan has to be a man and over 50. Really out of touch there, aren't you? Makes freaking sense why you're losing money. Makes sense why nobody wants your toys anymore. Well, Star Wars toys is the reason why George Lucas is a billionaire. You guys can't even, sell them to people for, 5 cents? I think one of those world-class bullshitters showed that the Star Wars toys went on super sale for 5 freaking cents. You can't even get people to buy your toys for a nickel. Shows how out of touch you are, because, only 50-year-old men want this. Only 50-year-old men care about Star Wars. Only 50-year-old men care about the Mos Eisley Cantina. Only 50-year-old men care about Tatooine. Not people like me that grew up when the prequels were coming out, that went and watched Anakin pod racing. That could have been a great... I know, people want to say what they will about the prequels, but could you imagine the ride where you get to go on like a roller coaster or a virtual reality ride where you're racing in pod racers and you go against other people, kind of like, oh, what do they have? Oh yeah, at Cars Land, they have the racing ride at Cars Land that every single time you go is like a 2-hour freaking wait. Oh my gosh, could you imagine if they would have had that at Star Wars Land? Oh my god, how terrible. But oh my gosh, it doesn't matter because it came before, and there's so much in the future that doesn't exist yet that we want to build our entire Star Wars Land off of things that don't exist. Wow. What a smart, not business move, Kathleen Kennedy. It blows my mind that she's even allowed to be in this position, that she's still allowed to be in this position. There are if you need a whammon, if it has to be a whammon that can be in charge of Star Wars, I know plenty of women that know so much more about Star Wars than Kathleen Kennedy. Heck, my mother probably knows more about Star Wars than Kathleen Kennedy does, and that's just because she grew up with me and my brother as her children that love Star Wars. My mother could do a better job running Lucasfilm than Kathleen Kennedy could, and it's like, how is she still allowed to be in this executive position? I don't understand. After hearing this, after hearing the blatant disrespect that she had, oh, you guys put years and years and, passion and knowledge into creating this Star Wars land that people are going to love because it's what you guys grew up with. Well, guess what? None of you matter. None of you matter. None of the Star Wars fans matter. It's all about the future. How blatantly disrespectful, how out of touch, and it makes a perfect amount of sense why Star Wars is losing money, and how this woman, in only a matter of a few years, has managed to turn a $1 billion franchise, a $1 billion IP, into a money-losing industry. It blows my mind, and she's literally sunk the brand of Star Wars into the gutter, and it's going to take a miracle to recover. So I have no sympathy for this woman. After everything that we can have learned and continue to learn, how she's still in this position blows my freaking mind. She needs to get... They need to get her out of there. She does not deserve this position, nor has she earned it anyway, nor does she even respect the position that she has. All she cares about is making money, and she's not even doing that. All she's doing is losing it. This is absolute insanity that she's still in the position that she's in. But everyone, that's just my 2 cents on that. I know I got a little heated. This is something that it makes my blood boil to my very core. It's infuriating. It's insulting. It's disgusting that this woman is still allowed to be in the position that she is in. She should not be allowed to make any decisions for anyone or any company. All she's done is proven how incompetent she is. But anyway, guys, I could go on and on and on for a very long time about how upset I am about this. But it is what it is. This is just my 2 cents on the situation. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far through. And like I said in the beginning of this video, YouTube has made a lot of changes. So if you have been unsubscribed, please make sure that you click the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Let me know what you think in the comments below of this situation. There is a longer interview. I probably will do a live stream where I listen to it, as we can do a more in-depth breakdown of the situation. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.